The Philadelphia Eagles go out and sign a player, possibly a spy, to spy on the Los Angeles Rams and get some intel from an unfamiliar place after they just signed a new linebacker to their roster. We're going to talk about who that is, what it means for their game upcoming this Sunday. We're also going to talk about the injury report for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams ahead of their game as well this weekend. And we'll also discuss a little update of the story I talked about a couple days ago, about Josh Riccardi and maybe Sean McVay losing that confidence in his kicker. We're going to talk about how that might not be the case anymore and what Sean McVay had to say about it. All on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Josh Giron. If you guys have never seen me before, you guys can go ahead and leave a like on today's video. Let us know you like what you see so we can continue to post daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. Let's get right into the first story here. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles going out and bringing in a spy, someone to get some intel on the Rams, a former Rams player, an actual former Rams draft pick. We're talking about 6th round pick O'Shane Mathis out of Nebraska, a couple years at TCU as well. If you guys don't recognize his face, he was a 6th round pick for us, released by the Rams back in August. Once he was released, he actually went on and moved on to play for the New England Patriots. Yes, that is correct. That is true. He did just play for the Patriots as of last week. So whatever intel information he had, he did bring it to the table, hopefully with the, or not, maybe hopefully not, I guess, with the New England Patriots last week. Whatever info he has, maybe it wasn't really the best because the Rams did go out and beat the New England Patriots either way, regardless of O'Shane Mathis being on the roster or not. But hey, again, I'm not trying to make this really a big deal. Let's kind of be real about it. I think we'd be naive to think that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't ask, O'Shane Mathis what he knows about the new Los Angeles Rams, any playbook, signal calling kind of wise. Of course, I think you're gonna go ahead and take advantage of that, bringing him into the building. But here is the reality here. I'm not really sure O'Shane Mathis is going to actually play too many minutes. And I want to pull this up for you guys real quick. We'll go ahead and talk about his stats on the year. Of course, these are all stats pulling from more often than not. Most of his time has been spent with the New England Patriots. So 2 tackles total, 1 assist, 1 solo tackle with 1 forced fumble on the year. The reality is, as much as we're rooting for O'Shane Mathis from a distance, of course, former Rams draft pick, he may not really play too much, right? He might not get too many minutes. He might not be on the field at all. He might not even be called up from the practice squad before this game gets rolling around on Sunday. But I think, like I said before, we'd be naive to think that he wouldn't have some type of information to give to his new teammates, to his new coaching staff about the Rams, signal calling, play calls, what tendencies they may have, maybe the philosophy the Rams may have on defense. But overall, I think the Rams will be okay, even though they did go out and you see the Eagles sign O'Shane Mathis to their roster before their game this coming Sunday. So just kind of an interesting little story for sure. Don't want to harp on it too much, but former Rams player making his way, playing back-to-back weeks versus the Rams. Very, very interesting to see nonetheless. So moving on to the next story, we want to discuss the injury report, of course, for this week's matchup. Eagles, Rams, who's in, who's out. We're going to talk about it here. And I want to pull up real quick the general injury report from both teams. You see here up top. The biggest one, I think, the biggest injury of note, or 2 big injuries. Kevin Dotson been pretty healthy all year long. He actually is just dealing with a stomach bug, Sean McVay said. So he may or may not play this Sunday. I think leaning towards not, but also we'll see how he feels come Sunday. One interesting thing that Sean McVay did talk about is Rob Havenstein actually being listed as doubtful for Sunday's matchup. As he said, the ankle is just not really, he banged his ankle up pretty bad. Obviously, we see him improve from out of practice, and I'll pull this up so you guys can see a little closer. Wednesday was out of practice, and then come Thursday, he actually was a limited participant. However, like I said, listed as doubtful going into Sunday's game. We may not have Rob Havenstein, a big injury on the Eagles side of things. They will not have Devontae Smith on their active roster game day. He is officially listed as out, which hurts my fantasy team a little bit as we get close to the playoffs. But the biggest thing is not having Devontae Smith, you can now focus your energy and time to stop and slow down A.J. Brown, who has had a little bit of a quiet year this year in general, but you want to try to hopefully slow A.J. Brown down, not have to worry as much of a Devontae Smith. You still have players like Jahan Dotson and Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert, so it's still a really good team you're playing against in the Philadelphia Eagles, but you don't have to worry as much about a Devontae Smith being on the roster. So definitely a game that I think the Rams are going to be challenged here. This is kind of the moment right now, right? This is the time we're 5-5, a 500 team. Are you going to be able to go in and beat a team like Philadelphia, a contending team who is ready to compete and contend, possibly for even a Super Bowl, but definitely well in contention for a playoff spot, one of those very valuable playoff spots that you want the Rams to kind of sneak in there and grab. So huge game for the Rams coming up. The Eagles are actually a -2.5 point favorite, which seems a little bit low in my opinion, as the Eagles have been playing really, really well. The Rams have been playing up and down. I think an interesting matchup for sure. The Rams offense can score some points this coming Sunday versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Can they slow down the Eagles offense? We'll have to wait and see on that one. My prediction, going to be a close one, I think, as you can tell by the -2.5 point spread. The Rams can sneak this out. Slowing Saquon Barkley down is going to be big time in my opinion, and hopefully the Rams can squeak out a win come this weekend. Moving on from that, we're going to talk real quick about these are more focused injury reports. Sorry, I want to pull this quote up actually. This quote here is from Sean McVay. Again, for those who don't remember, I was talking about Josh Riccardi and his situation in terms of confidence-wise with the Sean McVay, the head coaching staff. Sean McVay kind of last week, if you guys missed the video for whatever reason, we talked about Josh Riccardi maybe losing confidence in Sean McVay. Let's pull this quote up more full screen again. Sorry, one more time. I want to show you a quote from Sean McVay saying, "In that moment, there were some wins in Foxborough, and it just felt like you're playing your percentages. And my job is to decide the highest percentage for us to come away with that result, a win," is what he's talking about. And the reason why it's important, I think, and the reason why I wanted to pull this up is because Sean McVay essentially did make sure everyone knew in the media when they asked him his questions. He basically made sure he wanted everybody to know, and he's already let Josh Riccardi know. It's not him. He wasn't not confident in Josh Riccardi himself. He just wasn't confident in the overall kicking game that day. And one thing I didn't really talk about last video, a lot of kickers struggled this past Sunday, right? Even the greatest kicker of all time, possibly, in Justin Tucker, he had his struggles as well. So I think there was a lot of struggles on Sunday in general. Sean McVay saying, hey, look, we played the percentages. We won the game. I mean, that's not really much to talk about from there. We made the right choice, clearly, because we won. Let's move on from that and say, hey, I do trust Josh Riccardi. He's going to learn some stuff in his rookie season, how to cope with certain things, how to move on from a tough outing. Of course, missing a really tough 26-yard field goal, or not. The field goal wasn't tough, but it was a tough miss for sure to miss a field goal that close. Again, not really super confident in the kicking game that day. Doesn't mean he lost confidence altogether on the year, and that's a really good sign, I think, from Sean McVay. Really cool to hear him see him. And hear him talk about Josh Riccardi, young players, kind of just having that confidence and saying, we'll move on from it. It's a game, not a big deal. Let's kind of keep rolling here, and hopefully Josh Riccardi can learn from his mistakes moving forward. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. If I missed anything, you guys want me to talk about anything specific, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I appreciate you guys tuning in again, and hopefully the Rams can get a win, and we can talk about that all on Victory Monday. That's it for me, guys. I'm out.